General Hospital's Steve Burton reveals who he thinks shot Drew. This may be the first crime on General Hospital that Steve Burton's Jason can't be a suspect in, and to celebrate, Burton is revealing who he thinks is responsible for Drew's shooting. Steve Burton's GH theory. When Drew, Cameron Matheson, was shot twice in the back on September 2nd, there were several suspects, including Michael, Rory Gibson, Curtis, Donnell Turner, and Alexis, Nancy Lee Grahn. While Jason, Burton, is typically a suspect in most crimes in Port Charles, this time around, he's got more than an alibi. He's got an entire ocean between him and Port Charles, making it impossible for him to have been the shooter. Jason's portrayer discussed the Who Shot Drew storyline on his podcast with GH co-star Bradford Anderson, Spinelli, who was recently named Soap Hub's Performer of the Month for August. Here's the miraculous thing. You are not a suspect. Anderson told his co-star, prompting Burton to jokingly thank the powers that be. The only guys who's not a suspect is the guy who's killed everybody, Burton quipped about his character. The actors admitted they currently have no clue who shot Drew, and when Anderson asked Burton who he thought shot his on-screen brother, Burton had an immediate answer. If it was Willow, it would be great because it could be the road to redemption, he said about Caitlin McMullen's character. The actors admitted they currently have no clue who shot Drew, and when Anderson asked Burton who he thought shot his on-screen brother, Burton had an immediate answer. If it was Willow, it would be great because it could be the road to redemption, he said about Caitlin McMullen's character. General Hospital spoilers for September 11th tease Jason and Britt, Kelly Thibault, making their grand return to Port Charles, where Jason will surely learn of his brother's shocking reveals, and General Hospital has once again delivered a jaw-dropping twist. But today, the buzz isn't coming from the streets of Port Charles, it's coming from one of its most iconic stars. Steve Burton, beloved for his long-running portrayal of Jason Morgan, has weighed in with his own shocking theory on who shot Drew Cain. His words have set the soap world on fire and left fans dissecting every frame of the storyline with new urgency. What's more, Burton's comments feel less like a casual fan guess and more like a clue dropped by someone who has spent decades inside the GH machine. Could the actor be hinting at the direction the writers are taking, or is he simply stirring the pot in classic soap fashion? Let's dive into the details of his revelation, why it matters, and what it could mean for Drew's fate and the tangled web of Port Charles's ongoing drama. Steve Burton breaks his silence. Fans have been buzzing for weeks about Drew Cain's shooting. While the on-screen investigation has left viewers guessing, Burton decided to break his silence in a recent interview and online fan Q&A. When asked who he personally believed pulled the trigger, Burton didn't hesitate to share a name. He leaned in, smirked the way Jason Morgan often does when he's about to deliver a devastating truth, and said, "If I had to put money on it, I think it's redacted. The signs are all there, but the audience might not see it yet. I've been around long enough to know when a twist is being built." While Burton stopped short of explicitly confirming inside knowledge, his comment set social media ablaze. Fans immediately began to rewind episodes, dissect clues, and compare notes. Could Burton have just spoiled the biggest reveal of the fall season? Why Drew's shooting matters. To understand the weight of Burton's revelation, we have to look at why Drew's shooting is one of the most important storylines General Hospital has tackled in months. Drew Cain, played by Cameron Matheson, has been a pivotal figure since returning to Port Charles. As Jason's twin brother, his very existence has fueled endless layers of drama, from memory swaps and identity crises to his relationships with Sam, Carly, and Willow. His shooting, however, wasn't just a random act of violence. It has become the centerpiece of a larger story involving mob wars, government agents, and old grudges resurfacing. Everyone from Sonny Corinthos to Anna Devane to Valentine Cassadine has a stake in what happens next. If Burton's theory proves true, the reveal could shift alliances, destroy relationships, and even drag Jason back into conflicts he's been trying to escape since his own return to town. The leading suspects. Who could Burton be referring to? While Steve Burton didn't drop a crystal-clear name in his public statement, fans believe he strongly hinted at one of the following suspects. Let's break down the most likely shooters. 1. Cyrus Renaud. Always high on the list of Port Charles villains, Cyrus is slippery, dangerous, and thrives on manipulating others. Could he have orchestrated Drew's shooting as a way of destabilizing Sonny, or perhaps to take out Jason by proxy? 2. Ava Jerome. Ava has been caught in a spiral of betrayal and power plays. With her alliances shifting daily, some fans believe she might have been cornered into making a deadly move. But would Ava really risk pulling the trigger on Drew, given her own complicated history with Jason and Carly? 3. Agent Cates. The shady government agent has been lurking in the shadows for months. With Drew's past as a Navy SEAL and his connection to top-secret missions, many believe Agent Cates had motive to silence him before he exposed more secrets. 4. Valentine Cassadine. Valentine is always a wild card. While he's been working hard to regain Anna's trust, he's still capable of ruthless tactics. Could Drew have stumbled onto one of Valentine's secrets, making him a target? 5. Someone unexpected. Of course, no soap twist would be complete without a jaw-dropping reveal. Burton's words might be pointing toward a surprise culprit, someone fans would never expect. Could it be Willow, in a fit of misplaced rage? Or Michael, pulling strings behind the scenes? Stranger things have happened in Port Charles. Why fans believe Burton knows more than he's saying? Burton's comments feel loaded. As one of GH's longest-running stars, he's been privy to countless storylines and their behind-the-scenes crafting. Even though actors often claim they don't know upcoming twists, Burton has admitted in past interviews that writers sometimes loop him in early. Moreover, his bond with Cameron Matheson off-screen makes his comments even more intriguing. Could Burton be hinting that Drew's story arc is far from over, and that his shooter's identity will blow the canvas wide open? Fans on X, formerly Twitter, have been quick to pounce. If Steve says the signs are there, I believe him. He always knows when a big twist is coming. Please let this be Cyrus. Drew deserves a real villain, not some random hitman. I swear Burton just spoiled November Sweeps. The way he smirked, the Jason-Drew brotherhood angle. One reason Burton's theory carries so much weight is the Jason-Drew connection. Their relationship has always been complex, sometimes antagonistic, sometimes supportive. If Burton is right and the shooter is someone tied directly to Jason's world, it raises haunting questions. Did Drew take a bullet meant for Jason? Is this the universe's cruel way of forcing Jason to confront his past choices? Soap watchers know that Jason carries survivor's guilt like a second skin. If his twin's shooting ties back to his own mob ties or enemies, the fallout could send Jason spiraling into old patterns. Could Burton be setting up his own return storyline? Here's where things get even more fascinating. Burton has never been shy about teasing possibilities for Jason's future. By throwing his theory into the spotlight, he might be planting seeds for how Jason re-enters Drew's orbit in a big way. Imagine Jason discovering that Drew's shooting was no random act, but a direct result of Jason's enemies coming after him. That guilt could reignite his inner mob enforcer, pulling him back into Sonny's orbit despite his attempts to stay clean. Burton could be carefully nudging the audience toward this possibility without outright saying it. Why this revelation feels like a classic soap move. Daytime soaps thrive on speculation, and Burton knows how to play the game. By dropping this tantalizing hint, he has essentially turned the audience into detectives. Every scene involving Drew, every suspicious glance, every ambiguous line of dialogue now feels loaded with deeper meaning. This is General Hospital storytelling at its finest, layered, slow burn, and ripe for explosive payoffs. What's next for Drew? Of course, the biggest question remains, what does this mean for Drew's future? Will he survive the shooting long enough to identify his attacker? Could his injury lead to memory complications, reigniting the Jason-Drew identity storyline? Might the shooting set off a new mob war, dragging everyone in Port Charles into chaos? Burton's words suggest that whatever happens next will not only define Drew's storyline but also ripple out to touch nearly every major character on the canvas. Fan theories go wild. Since Burton's shocking reveal, fans have been piecing together their own theories. Some believe Jason himself might have been involved, whether intentionally or by mistaken identity. Others think Nina might secretly know more than she's letting on, especially given her knack for keeping dangerous secrets. A few are even floating the possibility of Helena Cassadine's return from the dead twist, because on GH, no one is ever truly gone. The bottom line. Steve Burton's shocking theory about Drew's shooter is more than just a casual guess. It's a spark that has reignited the entire fandom's obsession with this mystery. Whether he's offering genuine insider insight or simply stirring the pot, the result is the same. The GH audience is hooked. What makes this revelation so powerful is that it feels both personal and epic. Personal, because Jason and Drew's bond makes the shooting more than just another crime. Epic, because the fallout could reshape the power dynamics of Port Charles for years to come. One thing is certain, the truth about who shot Drew will not be a small reveal. If Burton is right, and history shows he often is, it's going to be one of the most explosive moments General Hospital has delivered in recent memory. And until then, fans will be hanging on every word, every smirk, and every cryptic hint dropped by the man who knows Jason Morgan better than anyone. Final thoughts. Burton's shocking statement has thrown gasoline on an already blazing fire. Port Charles is buzzing with danger, secrets, and betrayal, and now fans have even more reason to tune in. Spoilers. September 11th. A shock homecoming, Jason shut down, Nina briefs Lulu. In addition to a shock return rocking Port Charles, General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, September 11th, 2025, will also focus on Jason being stonewalled and Nina briefing Lulu. Next on General Hospital. A shocking return rocks Port Charles. Britt, Kelly Thibault, must be on her way back home sooner rather than later now that Jason, Steve Burton, saved her from the ankle bomb, and they barely got out of the way of the explosion. Britt's return will undoubtedly cause some interesting responses. Her undead status is bound to leave people stunned. Although, should it? Resurrections happen all the time in PC. Still, nobody will be happier to see her than her mother, Liesl Albrecht, Kathleen Gotti. Will the two reunite right away? And who will be the first to question Britt about how in the world she is still alive? Meanwhile, teasers suggest that Jason is stonewalled. Who's giving Jason the runaround? In other news, when Nina, Cynthia Watrose, briefs Lulu, Alexa Havens, this could go a number of ways. Lulu is reporting on the Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson shooting, so Nina could update the freelance journalist and play up Willow's, Caitlin McMullen, innocence and Drew's shoddiness. Or maybe this is about Charlotte, Bluesy Burke, whom Nina loves dearly. Lulu's first instinct is to prevent her daughter from reconnecting with Valentine, James Patrick Stewart, at Steinmauer Perbrennan's, Chris McKenna, who shared a fun fact about GH newcomer Bluesy Burke recently, request. While Lulu deals with Nina, her ex deals with drama of his own when Dante, Dominic Zamprogna, is suddenly caught off guard. Could this be Drew-related? Maybe he catches one of the persons of interest in the shooting in a compromising position. There's also a possibility that it has to do with Giovanni Mazza. Dante and his biological son with Brooke Lynn, Amanda Seton, haven't connected in a minute. It'd be really nice if they interacted again. A Port Charles grilling. Finally, Lucas's, Van Hansis, natural state these days is heated conversation and intense lectures. On Thursday, expect more of the same when he grills Carly, Laura Wright. The question here is the topic of this grilling session. Usually, it's Sonny, Maurice Bernard, and his shady ways. But could this be about Congressman Canvas is set to explode with fresh drama, heartbreak, and jaw-dropping revelations as General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, September 11th, 2025, promise a day of emotional roller coasters. A shocking homecoming rocks the town, Jason Morgan faces resistance that cuts deep, and Nina Reeves drops a truth bomb on Lulu Spencer that no one saw coming. If you thought GH couldn't raise the stakes any higher, think again, because this episode is about to change the game. A shock homecoming stuns Port Charles. General Hospital thrives on surprise returns, and spoilers confirm that September 11th will bring one of the most shocking homecomings in months. Fans have been buzzing about which character could shake up the landscape, and whispers suggest this isn't just a casual drop-in, it's a return with serious consequences. Could it be Lulu Spencer finally waking up from her long coma in the specialized medical facility abroad? 4 years, Dante, Laura, and Charlotte have struggled with Lulu's absence, and the timing couldn't be more dramatic. With Valentine, Nina, and Charlotte facing crisis after crisis, Lulu's return could not only throw family dynamics into chaos but also reignite one of GH's most compelling love stories. Alternatively, another long-absent face could walk through the doors of General Hospital or even step back into their family's orbit. Could Lucky Spencer return just as Lulu does, doubling the shock value? Or is it someone tied to Jason and Sunny's ongoing mob wars, bringing answers and danger that no one is prepared for? No matter who it is, one thing's certain: this homecoming is more than just sentimental. It's going to rewrite relationships and expose secrets that the town has worked hard to bury. Jason Morgan gets shut down. For weeks, Jason has been trying to mend broken bridges in Port Charles, particularly with his son, Jake, and with Sam McCall. But spoilers reveal that Wednesday's episode brings him face to face with a crushing reality. Not everyone is ready, or willing, to let Jason back into their lives. Jason has always been the rock, the protector, and the man who shows up when things get dark. Yet his long absence and the choices he made before his return have left wounds that can't simply be covered with apologies. Will it be Sam who finally draws a firm boundary, shutting down his attempts at reconciliation? Or could it be Liz, who fiercely guards Jake's heart and won't allow Jason to disrupt the stability her son has fought so hard to build? Either way, Jason's pain will be palpable. He's never been a man of many words, but when he's told no by the people he loves most, fans can expect that trademark stoicism to crack, revealing the depth of his loss. It's a reminder that even Stone Cold isn't immune to heartbreak, and that his road back into Port Charles life may be harder than he imagined. Nina Reeves briefs Lulu Spencer. As if a potential homecoming wasn't enough, Nina Reeves is about to deliver explosive information directly to Lulu. Spoilers tease that Nina will have a sit-down with her former rival, one that promises to stir up both old resentments and new revelations. Nina and Lulu's history is messy at best, full of betrayals, rivalries, and painful family ties. But this time, Nina isn't out to spar, she's out to brief Lulu on what she's missed. And let's just say the world Lulu wakes up to is nothing like the one she left behind. Think about it. Charlotte has grown into a teenager caught between Cassidy's scheming and Spencer family loyalty. Valentine's shady dealings have only multiplied, dragging Charlotte into danger more than once. Dante has struggled with grief, loneliness, and raising Rocco without Lulu by his side. And Laura has faced political wars, mob entanglements, and crises that would make any mother worry about the future of her family. Nina filling Lulu in could be emotional, awkward, and downright shocking. Will Lulu be furious to learn how much Charlotte has been through without her mother to protect her? Will she resent that Dante has moved on emotionally, even if only slightly, in her absence? And perhaps most intriguing, will Lulu's fiery spirit reawaken stronger than ever, setting her on a warpath against anyone who failed her daughter? The Spencer-Cassidy battle reignites. If Lulu does return, expect the Spencer versus Cassidy war to reignite in a big way. Lulu's deep-rooted hatred of Valentine isn't going anywhere, and Nina's updates will only fuel the fire. For Valentine, Lulu's return is the last thing he wants. His control over Charlotte's narrative and his complicated family ties will unravel the second Lulu steps into the picture. Could this spark yet another custody war? Or will Lulu bypass the courts entirely, determined to claim her daughter back by any means necessary? And what about Charlotte herself? The teenager has grown close to Valentine, but with Lulu back in the mix, she may face an emotional tug-of-war unlike anything she's experienced before. This isn't just a family drama, it's a battle for Charlotte's heart, one that could define her future for years to come. Jason's shutdown moment leaves him at a crossroads. For a man who's spent decades defining himself by loyalty and family, being told he's not wanted cuts deep. But Jason isn't one to quit. Spoilers suggest that after facing rejection, Jason may throw himself deeper into Sunny's world, or even drift towards someone unexpected. Could Carly be the one to remind him that he still has a purpose in Port Charles? Or will his pain push him into a reckless decision that puts everyone he loves in danger? It's no secret that Jason's role in the mob has always been his comfort zone, but with Sunny unraveling and enemies circling, Jason's choices could either stabilize the Corinthos empire, or shatter it completely. Nina's dilemma. For Nina, Briefing Lulu is about more than just honesty, it's about redemption. She's made countless mistakes in the past, and her relationship with Charlotte has always been complicated. By coming clean to Lulu, Nina may be trying to prove that she's changed, that she's capable of putting truth before manipulation. But GH fans know better than to believe Nina has fully shed her scheming ways. Is she really being genuine, or does she have her own motives for stirring Lulu's pot? Perhaps Nina sees Lulu's return as a way to shift the spotlight off her own missteps with Sonny and the rest of Port Charles. Either way, this is Nina at her most dangerous. Calm, calculated, and holding information that could shatter lives. Dante's heart on the line. If Lulu's shock homecoming does indeed take place, the person most directly affected will be Dante Falconeri. 4 years, he's carried the weight of her absence, balancing fatherhood, grief, and his career as a cop. A Lulu return would bring joy, but it would also bring guilt. Has he moved on too much? Has he failed to keep her memory alive the way he should have? And let's not forget his connection with Sam. Dante and Sam have built a bond in Lulu's absence, but that bond could be tested like never before. With Lulu back in the picture, will Dante's heart betray him, rekindling a love that never truly died? Or will he fight to stay grounded in the present, even as the past crashes into his life? What this means for Port Charles. The September 11th spoilers promise one of those quintessential GH days where multiple storylines collide, leaving fans breathless by the end of the episode. A shock homecoming means family ties will be tested, alliances will shift, and hearts will break. Jason being shut down reminds viewers that even the strongest heroes aren't immune to rejection and loss. And Nina's decision to brief Lulu ensures that old rivalries won't just resurface, they'll ignite into full-blown battles. This isn't just about one day's drama. This is about setting the stage for months of storylines that will dominate the canvas. Custody wars, mob chaos, love triangles, and family feuds. Wednesday's episode is the domino that tips them all over. Final thoughts. General Hospital has always thrived on the balance between family, romance, and danger. The spoilers for September 11th capture that balance perfectly. A homecoming that no one saw coming, a hero who faces rejection, and a schemer turned truth-teller. It's everything soap fans live for. Whether it's Lulu reclaiming her life, Jason grappling with heartbreak, or Nina walking the fine line between redemption and manipulation, the stakes couldn't be higher. By the end of the day, fans will be left with more questions than answers, but that's exactly what keeps Port Charles at the center of our screens, day after day. One thing's for sure, September 11th, 2025, will go down as one of those unforgettable General Hospital episodes that fans will be talking about for years to come.